And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, into the WGL EU Week 7, day number 2. And Virtus.pro falling there in that tiebreaker. Not generally what we expect from them. But as we move on, of course, there's going to be Synergy going up against noMERCY here. Synergy have been one of the harder teams to predict this season. Great start. Well, decent start, to be fair. They smashed Virtus.pro, but as we're starting to learn, that may not mean as much as we thought earlier.
No, I mean, one result against Virtus.pro doesn't really tell you that much in terms of what they can do for the rest of the season, because we've seen just now, Virtus.pro is not unbeatable this season. They just got, not stomped, but they got taken to school basically by Ding in many respects, especially on that first map, Himmelsdorf, and of course ending on Himmelsdorf as well. So, I think in that previous round, Virtus.pro needs to, look at their team a little bit more. But this time, noMERCY sitting right at the bottom of that leaderboard, and Synergy not doing so badly. So technically, this should be noMERCY Synergy's game. But then again, we've got a whole situation where obviously noMERCY is looking to improve their team and fix their mistakes. So they got a new player in, they got a little bit of a change to their roster. So that could make a lot of difference as well. Yeah,
I mean, as we refer to noMERCY, they've got 1 point, and that was from a tiebreaker loss to Wusa in Week 1. And that's it. Outside of that match, I mean, the best they've done since was 3 rounds against Utopia, which was a sick game. Obviously, as we saw that amazing play from Papa on Ghost Town. You can check out our VODs, of course, over on YouTube if you want to go and see that one. Great game. Polish Derby. We've had a few of those. In fact, all of our Polish derbies have kind of delivered in a few ways. Speaking, of course, of the Polish teams and their fan base, Melly, what I'm interested in is the people's support of Polish teams enough to outweigh the fact in the vote that noMERCY is 0-6?
At the beginnings, yes. The Polish crowd was very first at the voting. Do you say urns? Like where you put your vote in? Like in physical votes?
No, and you put
lodge.
No.
Lodge your vote?
In German, it's really urn.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Not what it is.
Voting urn. But well, whatever. Lodge could be the word we're looking for.
You put your ashes of the deceased in normally.
I know.
Oh, I know what you mean though. Yeah,
but that works for both.
Box.
Yeah, the vote box, exactly.
Well,
so,
it might be an urn, to be honest, if this goes badly for noMERCY.
Ooh, but it started with 70% for noMERCY for right after a break, and then suddenly switched to 68% for Synergy. So people are really eager to see this game happening, actually. So we have noMERCY's fan base, of course, online and right behind the team, but even Carmen, who is a Polish player, considers this one going to Synergy.
Okay, so even despite obviously Cosmo's alliances or allegiance, should I say, he's backing Synergy. I mean, and look, fair enough, to be honest. It's just not been a great start for noMERCY.
But there's still time to vote, so head over to Facebook and get your votes in to maybe change this prediction or get your predictions in if you haven't already. Also use the hashtag WGLEU to get your opinions straight to us via Twitter.
Thank you, Melly, and do continue to do that. We are interested, of course, in having a conversation with you about this one. Let's jump into this here. Synergy, obviously on the map of Ruenberg, are going to be starting on the attacking side. noMERCY will be defending in the red. Yeah, so straight into this one, of course, but 3 T54s on AMX 3090, IS3 5100 for Synergy, and, pretty similar lineup from noMERCY, pretty standard stuff on Ruenberg. So, I mean, we'll have to see how Synergy does this time round. Of course, they are not that experienced on Himmelsdorf. Only about 6 rounds played, and 33% of those have been won by them. Let's see if they can change that on here against noMERCY. All right, we can see the center push up towards that bottom corner of the map. One lucky blast and Snip. More of a manager, more of a substitute figure here, has been called up yet again for noMERCY. Good bounce there from Lucky Blast, and they are in position, so good start for noMERCY. And you can see Stalker taking a bit of a hit here. He doesn't normally mind going down early. He can bark orders at his team if he needs to. But Snip and Lucky Blaster falls right back here. noMERCY, can they capitalise on this? Can they respond? I mean, it's good work towards Nidin. That 1390 is off the field. Those 54 lightweights are still up in that fairly strong position in the corner. It's definitely not a terrible start at all for noMERCY. That was really bad execution by Synergy. It's very slow. I can see what they wanted to do. I mean, the classical, put your T37 there so it can act as a kind of a wreck for that AMX 3090. But the AMX 3090 went too far forwards, received a lot of damage, then got tracked and taken down. So great start for noMERCY. Zamika off in the linchpin for Synergy. Getting chunked down quite heavily here. Lucky Blast and Snip looking over in his direction. And yeah, it wasn't a great start. I mean, we often see a bit of a a bit of a mess, I guess, when those two T54 lightweights push into that back corner, but they got out essentially unscathed, and now they're free to do so much more damage. Mikhailov is going to have to push up here, and Total Best will get the finish on that 5100 towards Rafik, but he's going to pay for that one as well. Takes a big hit from the center of the map. Lucky Blast is still holding on just, and he's forced Winnie the Pooh and Mikhailov to both turn and deal with him here. And the capture is not really well advanced at all, and noMERCY have a decent lead in health points.
Total Best just sitting in the middle of the map with the 5100 to the side. I mean, it's ridiculous stuff that he's still alive. Fasita just not hitting those shells, one of the better players for noMERCY.
Well, he's had to back away and get his reload on right now, but Jamto, Matt PL, and Nevi are all fairly vital right now, fairly healthy. And they can get some damage on towards Zamika as well. Taking that IS-3 out of the picture is going to be pretty nasty here for Synergy to try and deal with. Winnie the Pooh and Mikhailov now really starting to join the fray, heading in towards that middle city. They were kept out of it for a fair bit of the early part of the game because they had to deal with those two lightweights in the corner. But Mikhailov, blood is in the water. He smells it, and he goes straight for Fasidi, who was on that reload. So a 3v3 we have here. Those three IS-3s. Total Best is on reload here, and Matt PL really wants to get him off the map as soon as possible.
Yeah, misses coming out from from Synergy even. So, I mean, I think this is going to be game over. Matt PL should be able to take down Total Best. No problem at all. You've got Mielov receiving a lot of damage. Nevi will surely... He doesn't get the ram, actually. Doesn't manage to cut him off in his pass. So, I'm not sure exactly if they're going to get reloaded. I don't think they will. So, still, Mielov and Winnie the Pooh hang on.
They do at that. Winnie the Pooh now is just going to try and lay some support on towards Mikhailov, at least make it costly for either of these two IS-3s to push on towards Mikhailov here. Nevi's a two-shot. Get rid of him if they need to, but noMERCY, you can expect them to be a little bit cannier than that when he takes two shots. And does have his track damage, but he's still going to be able to move. It will go down to Nevi though, and Winnie the Pooh now has got to, well, he's got to lift his whole team on his shoulders, and there's pretty much no chance of that right now. He's beleaguered, he's low. 1,500 odd damage is not too bad from him right now, but he has definitely not been where his team has needed him in his last few seconds. And Synergy will drop that one, that first attacking map here to noMERCY. Great start for the Polish guys here, for a team that honestly has struggled to put up rounds. I mean, they only got that one against Kazna, they got none against Virtus Pro, so good start. And this is that Synergy I was talking about. A little bit hard to predict. Sometimes they seem strategically, right, when they have it sorted, they seem fine, but when they're going sort of just organically, it seems to mess up for them.
Yeah, I think the execution was just not great for them. And we saw at the beginning, yeah, they're kind of a slow AMX 3090 push in towards that zero line. And it didn't screw it up a little bit, so they kind of lost control of those T-54s who managed to do a fair amount of damage. And then you had to kind of push through with the AMX 5100, also losing control of the F line, and noMERCY just a big rock in that eastern village just managed to make the shots they needed to make and just basically cancel out Synergy pretty quickly. I think it could have been done a little bit quicker, but they got it done. And
this is nothing overly high-tech from noMERCY here. Very standard setup. As I've said a few times, they sent those lightweights up to the corner. Fantastic spot to be able to really harass the team that's trying to defend. It's just the go-to for any defending team, or most likely most teams defending. And they held up a lot of the game. They definitely forced, you know, Synergy to think about them, to turn their heads in that direction, to try and deal with them. And unfortunately, they lost themselves so much time in doing so that, I mean, we saw Zamika, normally one of the top players for Synergy, normally always there in the fray, just got chunked down because he had no backup.
Yeah, I mean, Synergy just looks a little bit wayward. Again, it's those situations where I think it's hard to adapt once you do lose that initial engagement. But looking at the damage, I mean, 2,000 from Mielov did pretty well. 1.5k from Winnie the Pooh playing that back line with the T-54, and Fasita, of course, in that 5100, despite missing a couple of crucial shots against Total Best. Still at 1.8k in his MX 5100. So solid first round for noMERCY, not to be unexpected from him. I mean, to be honest, they are playing the Rurenberg defensive side, which is, you know, definitely a more of an advantage for you as a team.
Sure.
So right now, I think Synergy had a good first round. I think what it really comes down to is Synergy playing like they did against, you know, ASAP 2 weeks ago, where they just were really dominant against a lower team in the table, where they just went in just aggressive, really confident, or they're playing against like Penta, who aren't doing too well this season either, but just seem to get outplayed in almost every single situation.
Well, we did have a chance to sit down with Snip from noMERCY and discuss his thoughts about this upcoming game. Let's hear what he had to say.
Team Synergy is like their name. Their players aren't above the average WGL players. However, together with their leaders' tactics, they are a great team. Team Synergy's strength is their excellent timed moves. If you won't react quite fast enough, winning a run would be quite impossible. I hope we will make it.
Yeah, we're hearing that a lot about a few different teams as well, and it's not always that individual skill. In fact, it really is that gets your team all the way. It is that sort of strategic depth. And we did see that in the first few weeks. Stalker's strats was what he managed to take Virtus Pro apart with. Quite a few other big games as well. And going up against Utopia in the first week, we saw a lot of steps play. Actually, it was really, really good from them. He definitely seems to believe that it's all about that synergy working, but if your key components, i.e. your caller or your main player aren't sort of operating or they're not feeling nominal, then that can all fall apart.
I think the reason why Synergy is in 6th place right now is because they have that one element. I mean, of course, I guess you can break it down to tactics and you can break it down to individual skill. How do they not just like hitting the shells, but how do they react in specific situations? I think Synergy practices really hard, trains really hard. Theorizes a lot, and that's what's getting them the results, kind of on and off. And, I do think, though, in really high-pressure situations, if they do make it to the finals, for instance, they will have situations where they win and lose rounds just based on individual skill. But still, against noMERCY, their high work rate should work out for them. All right,
so we're seeing the Bulldog being picked up here for Stalker alongside the LTTB. Bit of a change here for Synergy. Stalker now going to move into that key position here. Often we see 5100s from the defending side go there. He, though, instead is going to be using the high fire rate, of course, and that large clip size to do some work. And you can see Snip and Lucky Blast again. They're heading up to that standard position.
Yeah, I mean, back to the 0 line, it's pretty normal. I mean, it's all about countering this position. I think a lot of teams are more towards the eastern side and they don't go for this one because they are worried that they can actually get taken out. But it looks like Synergy isn't taking that advice.
Oh, lucky bounce from the LTTB there, but he will still go down. Regardless, Lucky Blast does take 2 hits, but still it's 254 lightweights versus 254 lightweights, and the Overwatch is good for noMERCY. Those tanks they've got inside the city have got these 54 lightweights cornered on the road, and Winnie's going to drop down as well. This is not working at all for Synergy now. Mihailov is the last of those tanks. Again, Synergy have taken the bait of these 2 lightweights in the corner, and it's going to cost them 3 tanks in the early stages of the game.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. The LTTB was trying to provide cover, but I mean, the LTTB isn't as big as the T-54 in terms of how long it is. And you can also get shot from a different angle. So again, Synergy losing 3 tanks right now, 3 versus 7, and really only one who took some damage is this 2 T-54s. So you got good control by noMERCY. Again, 0 line, when you're on the eastern cap, that's what it's all about. If you have that 0 line, you can make shots towards the village, you can make shots against tanks that are pushing to try and reset through the middle. You've got everything going for you, and Synergy has none of that.
Well, not much to work with for them right now, as Mika has taken a few hits as well. And Lucky Blast and Snip at their leisure. Only when the cap starts, they can move out from this position, they can harass, and they can really hurt some of those bigger tanks sitting up. So it's just perfect control right now for noMERCY, and it's a serious lead in health points as well to reflect that. 3k is a massive amount at this stage of the game. And you can see that Stalker on your screen here is going to try and mix things up. Now, the Bulldog will always get the better of the T-37 generally. It does have a little bit more of a forgiving fire rate with that auto load. You can see Stalker can just put shot after shot in towards Rafik. Rafik yet to be able to respond. So, Stalker does get that. I mean, it might only be a consolation at this stage. As he gets the shot, he will actually repair his ammo rack there because no one wants to wait 50 seconds to reload on that Bulldog.
No, there's no point, exactly. And he's got a bit of time now. I mean, again, that's a big blow. Not as a big blow on Himmelsdorf, for instance, but I think, losing a tier 6, it doesn't allow you to flex around the map and have a little bit more freedom once that initial engagement happens. So I think Synergy just opened up a little bit of a Pandora's box, at least towards the northern side. I'm going to put the Bulldog up there so you can see immediately noMERCY's 5100. Fussy Eater does have to commit himself up there, and he might actually just catch Stalker by surprise.
Well, Nandina's it's not a bad spot, but he has to keep sort of, hulling over the edge, cresting that hill and then taking his shots here. So Northern Cap underway, and that was just Stalker, just being a bit of a pain here. He's going to move straight away as Fussy Eater was well and truly in position to defend against anything like that. Synergy now, tough. World Tanks definitely becomes a tough game when you have large odds to try and surmount with a lack of resources here. Total best, still full health, at least on that 5100. That is definitely the ace up the sleeve for Synergy if it were required. But they're not really bothering for a cap here. It's going to make them too vulnerable. Too many resources to commit to that part of the map and make them vulnerable here. So I'll be very interested to see how they sort of flex around this one. I mean, it's a good start to take down some of those lower tier tanks, give themselves the ability to flex or at least hamper your opponent's ability to do so. But now what?
I think, you know, Synergy needs to deal with those T54 still. I mean, seriously, if noMERCY really screw up, like, they can still lose this round, but you got... Yeah, I mean, you've got so little options for Synergy. I mean, of course, the two areas, the only real place they can go to with 2 minutes and 55 seconds left. There's just not enough time. The thing is, you got the 5100 of Fuzzy, you can make shots towards the IS-3s or the 5100. If they flex too much into the middle, if they go too far over that middle road, of course, you know, it's quite a steep incline, so it provides good hull down and good covering ability. But still, Stalker could find himself some good shots against Snip, but still, Synergy needs to engage in the middle at the right time.
Nadine taking a shot there as well, make it 2, in fact. Oh, maybe even more than that as he gets chunked down quite heavily. Stalker, though, gets aggressive on towards Snip, and they do manage to take him down. But still, there's some very, very well healthy tanks on the side of noMERCY. They are losing him bit by bit, though. It's not bad from Synergy here, but it's going to take a little bit more than that. Total Best now making a big mistake trying to crest over that hill. Takes a heck of a lot of damage in the process. Was kind of hoping, I guess, that the rest of noMERCY were looking towards Nadine. And he, for his mistake, takes a heck of a lot of damage with only having dealt 223.
Yeah, so it's going badly for Synergy. It's game over. You can see they try to get themselves in that eastern village a little bit more, and of course, as soon as they, you know, open their flanks up or just go around the corners, they just receive too much damage from noMERCY, who are just ready and waiting. So Zamika, Tolbes, last two remaining. Of course, Tolbes falls. Zamika left, and it will be another round in the bag for noMERCY, picking up both defensive sides. Not unusual. They haven't really, you know, been tested that much by Synergy so far. Again, you know, that initial engagement, the LTTP and the double T54s, just not going their way.
Not at all. I mean, you know, always there's the second game in a row now that Synergy have been undone in the opening minutes. Though losing, you can see that they're trying to address the threat of those two lightweights sitting up in the corner of the map. They send an LTTB and two lightweights, so ostensibly that's an overmatch, right? But when they sit themselves on the road, they get sort of caught up. They can't go forwards. They can't really go back. It's so hard to take that down. And you don't even bother trying to cap on that eastern side when there are tanks in that back corner. It's just ridiculous. It's suicide. And, you know, so we can see the thinking of Synergy here. But we can check out the map and see, also the replay and see sort of what happened there as well. Like Total Best, I think, a good example here. This was when he pushed over the hill for God knows what reason. And he took that massive amount of damage. Didn't do a lot of work. 5 shots, 1 penetrating hit for all of those. And just a very underwhelming performance from him this time around. From a player that we normally see do quite well in these games.
For me, it feels like Synergy is picking this map up. Maybe even noMERCY's picking this map up because they know that this is going to be a 2-2-all, you know, twice on defense, twice on the attacking side. But I don't know, I think it been pretty unconvincing results so far for Synergy. I think if they want to win that attacking side, first of all, they need to accept the fact that they're going to lose 2 tanks. I mean, they're going to lose, first of all, the tank that's blocking, the LTTP or the T-37, or they're going to lose the T-54. They need to commit 3 there, the MX-3090, like they did the first time, the 2 T-54s. So they can actually just get that 3 versus 2 situation. They win the 3 versus 2. They have the Rex to provide cover for at least the small AMX-3090, who once he goes unspotted and gets the reload, he can actually win the game that way. So, you know, obviously not particularly great and stunning rounds there from Synergy on the attack at least.
No, and they've got to turn it around. I mean, they do have a chance, of course, now to maybe dictate the flow and pace of the game a bit more. But as we spoke about in our last match, Ruinberg is a map where, as a defending team, you are forced to react, you are forced to respond. If an enemy team wants to be aggressive or move on to that cap, you must respond to that. You have to change position. So, you know, it's almost like on the attacking side, it would have kind of been ostensibly more favourable here for Synergy. They're getting cut down by what I feel is fairly cookie-cutter rollouts. Very basic stuff, and they just haven't been able to respond.
Yeah, I think we'll have to see how noMERCY does this time around on the attacking side, because that's what it all comes down to in Ruinberg. I think just like Himmelsdorf last season, I said this in a couple of match days, Ruinberg's that one where you want to go 2 for 2, and it's really about that second map. But if you do get a third round, you're really laughing. It's absolutely fantastic, and I think noMERCY, they have a good chance. They haven't really played Ruinberg, as I said at the beginning, you know, only twice on the attacking side, haven't really played it on defense too much, but, you know, I have to see how this one works out for them.
Okay, noMERCY on the attacking side here. they definitely seem to be wanting to try and take position in the top side of the map. We do see this as well. Attacking teams will hot-foot it up towards that back corner. And you can see they value it greatly. Rafik and Fasciita now might just try and get the shots. We do see some blind shots coming out from this location sometimes, but Mikhailov and Winnie the Pooh will get in position essentially unscathed. But noMERCY aren't committing those tanks into that crucible part of the map early on.
Yeah, so really interesting that noMERCY is just sitting down below. Maybe they're expecting to find Winnie the Pooh or Mielov there, but no spots coming out. They're waiting for those IS-3s just to make their way into the Cap 2. Now, I think this is pretty good. It just really depends on those tanks now sitting in the south and how quickly they do engage.
Well, this is what happens. Navy now pushing across the field, and he will be vulnerable to those couple of tanks in the back corner, but shots have been fired, and the rest of noMERCY is going to push up and try and deal with them. So they're going to distract Synergy. Synergy now have to fire on two fronts here. We see those IS-3s, the convoy, moving in towards the city. Already Rafik goes down. That's not really too much to write home about here. Not a key tank, you could say. And Fasciita and MatPL, now they're being looked at by some of those tanks in the middle. So Synergy have to be smart here. They have to be able to split their focus. Calling will be really important right now. And you can see Mikhailov and Winnie the Pooh trying to contribute as well to what's going on towards the center of that village as those IS-3s try and get to grips with Synergy.
I think that was a pretty big blow, actually, Rafik going down, because Rafik was supposed to provide cover. He's supposed to be a blocking tank, and because he couldn't go forwards, it basically meant Fassi and MatPL couldn't really engage Winnie the Pooh in that T-54. So thankfully, those IS-3s managed to engage without Synergy putting too much pressure on.
Okay, this isn't bad. MatPL and Fasciita will be able to deal with those two tanks. So their solution seems like it worked a bit better, but Yamto's taken a lot of damage here, 980 being shaved off of him. Now 5100 of total best, able to contribute and be a meaningful part of this game, and it's been so important as Yamto goes down and didn't put the shell in towards him, and Zamika now is going to find himself endangered species if he's not careful. But Nadine surely will be trying to assist here. And the 3090 and that 54 lightweight are going to be able to move up here. So if noMERCY can, wow, if they can get in towards this city unscathed, I was going to say, but they're taking a lot of heat for getting in towards this position now. At least they're returning some of it. You can see the 3090 and the lightweight are moving on up, but Fasciita is a one-shot. He's got to be very, very careful. And I think only the one shell. And MatPL is on reload here, so he's not going to be able to be relevant for at least a few more seconds.
And also, you know, the thing is, you know, noMERCY trying to push into the eastern side. Synergy is holding tight. They got also Stalker just making good plays around the side, doing good damage. The only thing they really have going for them is that they got the IS-3s, which are slowly starting to go down. Fasciita does fall first in that T-54.
All right, Zamika, Lilith, and Nadine. Wow, this is not bad. Zamika does go down. noMERCY don't have a lot of health points to work with. They must concentrate their fire, but the harassment coming in, I think, from Stalker on that T-37 is going to be so annoying to deal with right now, and MatPL's forced to move in towards the fire of the 54 lightweight. Now he has the chance to at least let off a few shells, but he's still vulnerable to Stalker. He leaves himself on the top of that street. I don't know if he was afraid to commit or whatever, but that hurt him. And now Nevi and Snip have got to go back-to-back here against these lightweights, and the 5100 of total best, which is almost off reload. It's all but done here, and Synergy are going to be able to pick up their first round.
Yeah, this is game over, and Nevi also loading HE, obviously trying to find total best perhaps in the AMX 5100, but Snip and Nevi are probably going to fall to Stalker, who's doing a great job right now from behind in that T-37. It's exactly when you want to keep your tier 6 alive, and just like we saw noMERCY lose their tier 6 at the beginning, you saw it was made up by Stalker there in his T-37, doing great damage and great work overall.
Yeah, and they tend to be able to do that. If you let that tier 6 go unchecked, it's the rate of fire, it's the DPM that really brings them into a class of their own if you let the game go for a protracted length of time. And you said before the game as well, a lot of teams go 2-2 on Ruinberg, and they're fairly happy with that. You can see it. It's kind of hard to defend that one really well when you've got so many things to deal with here. And you can see noMERCY, this is where the push happened. Those two tanks up in the back corner still aren't part of the fight. Now, was it a worthwhile investment for noMERCY to put their tanks up in that back corner to deal with those couple of lightweights?
I think it was. I think it was some individual mistakes here. For instance, Lucky Blast just getting caught out for basically nothing. You also saw before that one more IS-3. I think Jamto got caught out. So you got basically two IS-3s in bad positions going forwards. And the AMX 3090 of MatPL has to reload an awkward position. I think individual mistakes didn't help them. Again, MatPL, you know, you mentioned him going 1v1 against Ilya, I believe, in his T-54, and obviously losing because he put the back of his tank open towards Stalker's T-37's fire. So you have all these kind of individual positional mistakes by noMERCY, which didn't help them out. But they got the advantage at the beginning, and I think they kind of let that one slip a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, in health points, it was in a balance. We saw definitely a few were being spent on noMERCY getting control of that back corner. They value that. You can see that they respect the importance of that spot, and we're harping on about it purely because teams are only going for that eastern cap. Those spots, I mean, the village And of course, that cap area are real hot spots. On a heat map, they'd be showing bright red, of course. That's where a lot of the action is happening. So what's the change here? I mean, can noMERCY execute the same strategy or go for that same cap, deal with those 2 tanks in the back corner and still come out on top? Or was it only a few mechanical mistakes that cost them? Or fundamentally, do they need to change their approach here?
Well, I think, first of all, you know, losing the corner fights with the T-54, I mean, Fussy Eater, you had Zamika, you know, those kind of guys who are going against each other. Losing it against the T-54 in I3 is just not what should happen in Ruinberg against the corners. I think Ruinberg comes down to 2 things. Either winning out in the caps or winning it out in the corner fights in that Eastern Village. And obviously, noMERCY didn't do that twice. But this is noMERCY's map. They made a few mistakes in that round, a couple mistakes. Yep. So I still think they're confident. I still think they can pick up a 3-1 scoreline. Well, they favour it. They definitely fancy their chances here as well. And of course, being 0-6. And as has been said, of course, on Twitter with the hashtag WGLEU, the underdogs going into every match, noMERCY. Speaking of them as well, when they did come down, they definitely believed in their potential. They're familiar, especially with the Polish teams, but also some of these other teams. And you're seeing like some of these top teams, with the exception of Supreme maybe, falter a little bit. Blood is in the water. And it's funny how that motivates a team to sort of push on, like we saw in that last game when you can sort of see that, you know, the Titans of old were sort of weakened a little bit. So, I mean, noMERCY, they definitely have a chance here. They've got that 1 point they picked up in that tiebreaker loss to Wusa in week 1. Since there, it's been pretty uninspiring. Obviously, Utopia getting 3 rounds against them was sort of a highlight, a high point of their last few games. So they definitely have to turn it around here as well. The Ruinberg play, despite it being their pick, it hasn't been overly strong for them. I think they were 2-2. On maybe one occasion. It's not a strong map for both these two teams. It's just like in the previous round where, you know, Himmelsdorf wasn't a strong map for Ding or Virtus Pro. It's like this one, it's not a strong map for noMERCY or Synergy. But this is what it comes down to. Ruinberg is trained a lot and is played a lot by the Europeans and Russians because both regions seems to be, you know, a fan of this one, especially the Russians in Season 5. It's just like a map everyone's playing right now. It doesn't matter if you have good or bad results on it, you are going to end up playing it a lot this season, and maybe one of the reasons why it's going for these two as well. Well, to be fair, a lot of competitive games out there nowadays, they have that one map that everyone sort of has a strat for, everyone has an approach, and they're all decent at, you know. That's a map that you go into, it's always a bit of a coin flip, how the team is on the day, and all those sort of things. But let's see if it is in fact noMERCY's map as we do jump in to this game. Tank picks here. What have we got? Anything? Nah, it's pretty standard stuff. I mean, the only surprising thing would be that noMERCY's picking up an AMX 3090 on the defensive side. You often see that from these kind of teams. You know, the teams are slightly lower. They always try and innovate because they always think, what did they do wrong last time? And they obviously, oh, sorry, they're on attack. They look what they did last time wrong and try and change things up here. And maybe it's going to work out. AMX 3090. In my opinion, I mean, since 9.4, where they changed the accuracy to make it a little bit more less likely that you're going to hit the first shell when you're not aimed down, the AMX 3090's usefulness has significantly decreased because you do rely on that first shell hitting about 50% of the time, which is why the AMX 3090 was still viable. So it's got to be pretty close for it to be effective, and hopefully it does work out for them in this round. Look at noMERCY almost setting up a bit of a stalker trap. Oh, you can see them positioned here, close towards that B1, B2 area. So they might go for this one. They might. Yeah, I don't know, man. If they cross, like we see a lot of those sort of Wolfpacks do, they cross over to where that IS-3 of Nadine is. I mean, again, Total Best has been left there, just like Virtus Pro used Povel. So this, I'm going to call it now. It's not going to work out. They're going to try and push across. They will get Stalker, and they don't really hesitate. They're going to push across a bit further as well. I don't know. I think this is pretty good for noMERCY right now because there's basically nothing in the village for Synergy. Yes, if you have tanks in the village, you get great shots, basically. You get absolutely fantastic shots to those tanks that are pushing. They haven't got that, and Nidin is now in serious trouble. Yeah, it's a great start. Total Best hasn't really been able to commit to this one at all, and now he finally gets there. But at what cost here? Mihailoff and Lillard trying to assist at least from the bottom side of this map here. Fasida maybe being forced back here, getting a little bit too cavalier as he pushed out. The Total Best getting chunked right on down there, trying to go head-to-head with those two light tanks here, and it was probably going to get the better of him right now, as he does have that disadvantage there in numbers. Fasida going to get pushed onto by Mihailoff here. Nevi trying to assist from the middle of the map, and Nevi's killed his own damn teammate on that one. Don't really know what happened there at all. Maybe just trying to put him out of his misery before he gets jumped on, but that was a shot he could otherwise have used to try and deal with some of these other guys. However,
The cap is almost done, down to 9 seconds. neMe can harass Winnie as he tries to go to reset. Matt PL and Snip are going to get on there as well, soak up some damage, maybe protect those capping tanks. This might just work out for noMERCY here.
They're just putting the cap as quickly as possible and to also defend from the south because they know they have the eastern side down, and noMERCY do bring it 3-1.
Brilliant work from them. They set up so well. They even brought back that initial strike force, the 1390 and the 54 lightweight, just to sit on the cap, just to assist. This is beautiful from noMERCY, pushing onto that northern cap. They sat on it. They waited for it a little bit there. You could see they sort of positioned their tanks, maybe waiting for Stalker to push through on one of his Stalker runs as they were. Great work. I'm a little bit dim about that push, that standard push across those buildings, but Stalker got blown up immediately, and Total Best on that 5100 wasn't able to do his job. Poveld did a great job in that position when it was Virtus Pro, but this time for Synergy it didn't work out.
Well, the thing is, it felt to me like Synergy never got like the cues they needed to make the tactic work for them. So first of all, if noMERCY got spotted in their position around the corner, it would have meant they just tried from a different angle, which is what they should do, of course. But they just waited, they went forwards, they took down Stalker very quickly, and because basically the IS-3 got Q, before that he had no idea what was going on, it meant he wasn't in the position on the other side of the road where he can actually go hold down and live for a little bit longer. So he got absolutely wrecked there. I think it was Zamika actually in the IS-3, and then he had Total Best in the 5100, who's basically a sitting duck either way. But the weird thing was, Synergy was down on the 0 line, but only had one IS-3 in the middle because their tanks were just, all over the place, basically. So, normally, I mean, that northern push doesn't work because you receive so much damage on the cross. Basically, the IS-3 and the 5100 can hold that kind of village area for a decent amount of time, so you can actually kill the tanks in the middle. So I think all these kind of factors come into the equation, and, noMERCY managed to play very well across the board.
I mean, it was brilliant work as well. We saw Fussy to get himself into a little bit of a compromising position there as he poked himself out of the mid. But to have a 5100 and an IS-3 up the top of the map is a big commitment of resources. It's a big commitment. And you can see now, so that neMe and Fussy could do work as well. I mean, they were in a position they could get some harassment down. They stopped Synergy from being able to assist that northern cap.
That's the whole point. I mean, you have those, you have the crossfire. You're going to receive some damage for sure. But if you get across that middle area, neMe's hold down. He's safe. Fussy Eater does go down, thanks to neMe. But I mean, that's just a bad shot for neMe at the end of the day. But I do think that's Synergy just being at the wrong place at the wrong time. 3 T54s as well. I mean, perfect counter by noMERCY. I always say this. When you're playing the light tanks, you do have a temptation just to go as fast as you can from A to B and run around the map, when really sometimes you just have to slow it down, even when you're playing a faster tank. So I think Synergy just got outplayed, outstratted by noMERCY in that round.
You heard it here first. Synergy got outstratted by noMERCY. It's a great recovery from those guys as well. And I tell you what, we talked earlier on in the night, about this team, about the Polish further forward of tanks, about the support that a team like noMERCY has behind them. So, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, Melly obviously just looked at the screen and we have to pinch ourselves to realize where the score is at right now. It's not done and dusted yet though, Melly, but the Polish showing up against Synergy here.
What's happening? I mean, it's crazy. 3-1, something I think barely no one would have expected at this point. As already said, 68% for Synergy at the start, and now down to 51%. So 1 percentage. Yes, it's crazy.
Nice.
But people love it so far. And if you want to give your opinion on this game, head over to Twitter and use the hashtag WGLEU to share it with us. Use that very hashtag to tell us what's on your mind, because then you only make sure that we can see it. And of course, there's still a little time left to vote before we head into the second map, which is Mines. And I don't know which one's choice was that.
Would probably be Synergy's choice.
Okay.
Yeah, Synergy's choice on the defensive side of Mines.
So nothing is done yet. People, get your votes in if you haven't already. Head over to facebook.com/WGLEU and participate. Click the team vote button right above the timeline to get forward to our app, where you simply have to choose your favorite team and then predict the exact scoreline for this matchup. And as said, 5 minutes break for you guys, and hopefully see you back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the WGL EU. And if you've just joined us, you've missed a very interesting night. Some very strange highs and even stranger lows for some teams here. Obviously, our first map going in favour, against Virtus Pro, of course, in a tiebreaker, which maybe we didn't expect. Being strong in that one. And of course, now we're into Synergy versus noMERCY, and you know, it doesn't mean that they've won, but it's not bad for noMERCY to be up 3-1 against Synergy at this point.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we've said it time and time again. A 3-1 scoreline is not an end of the day kind of scoreline. We've seen it a lot this season, actually, where teams have come back from a 3-1 deficit to actually go on to win like 5-3 or 5-4 or whatever, you know. But I still think noMERCY are not just winning because, you know, some miracle result. I think they're just playing better than Synergy are right now, especially in that last attacking round. You could see not only did they play well on an individual level, but they also made the right call before the battle and just executed the strategy very well.
I'm really, honestly, not really convinced by Synergy in the last couple of weeks. I mean, they did drop that game to Penta last week, which the Dead Zone grilled me about because I definitely favoured Synergy in that particular matchup. However, things are starting to change here, so we'll have to see if that continues to be the case here.
Favour whoever you want, mate. Just you say whatever you want. I mean, it's the thing, you know. I think Synergy are one of those teams where they can get locked out of games very quickly, but you do have a tendency to be like, yeah, okay, Synergy are winning this game because they should win it. You know, they're the ones who are the favoured team, but I think sometimes they just let it slip. Realistically,
they're 3-3 after 6 games, so there's only so much you can say. But maybe Minds will give us the answers to these questions and more. Let's check it out.
Restart.
We have a restart, actually. That's fine. I was getting hyped up for that one. You know, you get in the zone.
The interwebs, just dropping your pen, just chucking it, and just throwing your pen all over the place, mate. You know.
I don't need. If I hold my pen for too long, I start clicking it incessantly.
I know, so do I. I think that was my pen.
I actually gave it back to him because
here's another pen for you.
I kind of took it away from him. I tried to hide it. Because do you know that I actually get Facebook messages that
about the clicking of it?
Please stop.
One Facebook message doesn't count as Facebook messages.
But still, Facebook messages that he should stop playing with his pen.
Oh,
yes.
well, wait till they tweet, Ollie. Or wait till they
no one's tweeted me about the pen, so I'm going to keep on clicking it.
No.
Brilliant.
And I don't know what you call that, undoing it.
All right, so votes. People have now had a chance to catch up with the goings-on. We are now into our second map, and they are closing. So let's get our final result, Melly.
Well, final result is...
I'm in suspense right now.
50%.
50%.
So anticlimactic. 50%.
Yeah, well, you know, to be fair, most of the map votes we get are always so skewed. They're always so skewed. It's rare that we see something that's so even here. So it's good. People putting the virtual money where their mouth is, as it were, or at least they're committing to you know, one team or the other. So it's interesting that we have that.
Exactly. I mean, at the start it was heavily favoured in favour of Synergy. So people still have a chance of winning bonus codes because the 3 correct earliest votes win bonus codes.
Well, you guys know how it is, of course, but let's try that again. Take 2. Let's jump into Mines for the second map of this round.
Mines, a small summertime map with lots of hills, rocks and other cover. The teams start the battle in the usual locations. But the base locations are different. One is located in the bottom part of the village and the other one is in the water. The key directions here are the hill and the island. That's why the teams will often select fast vehicles and tanks with strong turrets.
I can't quite tell if that's like an accent of someone from the CIS trying to, or who has like a British accent. It sounds a bit interesting.
He's done a few voiceovers for Wargaming before. He's one of the classic ones, but Synergy just not wanting to wait up for anything as they go charging forwards.
This could blow up in their face, actually. Lilith did get tagged on the way through, and Yamto able to get down off that slope without losing too much here. So Synergy now have a chance to get position, and noMERCY have to respond to this oh so quickly, as Fussy in the Borsig taking 2 heavy hits and forced to back away behind that rock. The control that noMERCY had over this island now being wrested away from them, as we do see that Ron Borsig hit the ground, and Yamto caught up quite a long way forward with not much support.
That's the problem. I mean, Fussy Eater just no damage there on the side with that Waffentrager, and that's really cost noMERCY a lot right now. Synergy just taking advantage of the fact that noMERCY likes to play over towards that left side, the Lighthouse Island, and it's just going superbly for them.
This seems like something they've definitely prepared. They definitely seem confident pushing over the hill. They didn't expect to deal with noMERCY pushing onto the hill themselves, and they didn't. So now Synergy have made a bit of a swap of it here. noMERCY getting pushed on into, and they're having to react to this. And this is the kind of stuff that gives you the knee-jerk stuff. This is where mistakes are made as the team that's trying to deal with this. Synergy are the defending side, but they definitely don't look it right now. Matt PL will dispatch a Stalker, but he's the least of the concerns of the polls right now.
Yeah, so at the moment, it's still okay for noMERCY. They've got control of the hill. The middle areas in control, they can slow it down, but again, you know, Synergy have so much tanks alive and so much HP to do with them, and they're also starting to challenge for that middle area.
This is bizarre. This is like a perfect pincer now. As Lucky Blast is going to get pushed onto, Total Bets will bounce the shot off the front of his tank. Mihailov will get aggressive towards that play. He will go down, steps a one-shot, and Matt PL's a one-shot. Watch them fall like flies or dominoes, whichever you prefer. Navy will drop in just a moment. Zamika will dispatch of Human. That is an interesting strat. I enjoy that from Synergy. You know, it's funny. You can always tell there are some teams who will always go for the hill, go for that standard start. And then there's teams like noMERCY who, at least as far as Synergy understand, don't favour the hill and went to the island. I mean, would this strategy have worked if noMERCY had played a more standard approach here?
Yeah, well, if Synergy had played a more standard approach, for sure. I mean, the thing is, because you have that Waffentrager on the side, you can get great side shots onto the tanks that are peeking on the hill. So the thing is, I think it came down to Fussy to not hitting that first shell. Didn't help them at all. That would have been 750 damage in the way of noMERCY. So, but it was just, you know, no challenge there from noMERCY in the middle. They all towards that left house, the lighthouse island, and they just couldn't do anything there. They didn't have the hill, they didn't have the higher ground, they didn't have the cover, and so you just flexed around them. They got so many angles that it was just a super quick game for Synergy, and really nice stuff.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at this first clip here, which pretty much says it all, actually, as they were pushing on, well, towards the end as Synergy just started to close the net a little bit here. This is where they had the full surround on noMERCY. Perfect display, and you can see noMERCY, I mean, as you said, still kind of in this one, looking okay. But Synergy had too many tanks, they were too dynamic, and I mean, that was really the result of their push in the first stages of this game. Yeah. I mean, what if noMERCY had pushed the hill?
Yeah,
what then?
Yeah, I mean, it might have been a more one-sided result, but Synergy has seen that noMERCY have done that kind of thing before, and they're going to take advantage of that one. But I don't know. I think this is what Synergy is worried about. When they played against Kazakru, when they played against Penta, they just got locked out of this map. You know, they just didn't do anything. Literally nothing. And that meant the other team could just get in the game, they could play their own style, and they could win it like that way. And I think Synergy is thinking, we're not going to let that one happen again. We're going to play our own game. We're going to do our own strategies. And I think we'll have a better chance if we do that.
Well, kind of makes sense as well to not let a team like noMERCY sit. You know, they're not as experienced as some of these other teams, obviously, in the league. And they definitely... it benefits them when they have time to think, time to sort of weigh up their options and then make some sort of execution. So Synergy there, interestingly enough, a lot of their more heavily strata play doesn't always involve this super aggressiveness to begin with. Hey, it might just be a flash in the pan. It might be them throwing caution to the wind in that first round and then revert to something more default here. But I mean, it completely took noMERCY by surprise, and it's good to see that, you know, as the season wears on, that, you know, Synergy, they were known for being able to sort of make those adaptations and those strategies. It's nice to see that they're still providing them, even though the teams have had a chance to get a feel for one another.
Yeah, I think, you know, noMERCY needs to go back to like a more normal style hero in mind. The thing is, the big advantage you have on the attack is that you can always be the one to make the first move, and if you just give away that advantage straight away, you've already, you know, made yourself in a pretty awkward position here on this map. So I think noMERCY still ahead, still one round ahead, and they are on the attack, so they do need to be going forwards and trying this aggressive style, but they just can't let Synergy just, you know, bully them basically in these kind of rounds. Yeah,
I mean, picking up the Borsig where it might sort of work lends itself to a more defensive strat, and you can see that noMERCY have actually gotten rid of that here.
Yeah, they've gone to a more T54 AMX 5100 lineup. I mean, AMX 5100 a bit strange on the attack, not often used, or not that much at least, but we got noMERCY again. Maybe just baiting out Synergy, but Synergy got control of that middle area straight away, and those T54s might just be punished.
Well, let's have a look here. noMERCY making the push towards the island. It's a great place to set up on the attacking side, but Lucky Blast is really going to pay for getting there. He is peppered with shots.
Not even that much. Nidin missed both these shots. I mean, these are supposed to be high-level players.
It's a lot worse.
Really not that hard of a shot to make on the side, like, and he missed both of them. That 600 damage just gone away from noMERCY. You can see that's the problem for Synergy. They have a lot of questionable players in that team, and you need to be hitting those shells on the side. It's really what defines you as a top 16, and it's really what will help you in the long run. So I think Synergy could have had a better position right now, a better situation right now, And noMERCY have given away that middle area, which I think is the most important things on minds, because now really the only cap they can go for is the second one, which they have got underway. But noMERCY really do need to hold all these angles and hit all these shells.
This isn't a terrible setup, though, because Synergy don't have the option to push from the north. We do have that 154 lightweight, I think it was Matt PL, is holding them there. And unbeknownst to them, Fussy Eater is waiting at B2 to have shots if they try and go from the north. So they have to make a south push here. And to be fair, again, noMERCY have 2 tanks on the bottom island. They have 1 on the middle. They can really do work if they try and reset, because here, Synergy have to react really quickly. You can see Zamika now going to make his way down. No, TotoBest tries to roll over and get a bit of a reset. He doesn't take a lot of damage on the backside of it, and he will get Rafik for his troubles. Yamto is still on that cap, but a firing squad of noMERCY really needs to step up here. If Synergy are going to be audacious enough to try and stop this cap, they must send them home with a tail between their legs.
Yeah, but this is still going pretty well for Synergy. They took down Rafik. That's going to slow down the cap a lot. They've done a good amount of exchanging damage between the tanks that are defending Jamto. So really, Synergy, what they want to do right now is what they're doing, just making good exchanges, taking down the caps, the tanks that are defending the cap, and then they can go in with Winnie the Pooh because he's got more space to breathe, basically.
And Synergy can control that island as well in the southwest. You know, there's a very low health tank there. He's going to get cleaned up. It was Lucky Blast, I think. And so far, Fussy Eater hasn't fired a shot. He's done literally nothing here. And while that position is fine to repel any sort of mid-push, he can't contribute right now, and it shows. It really shows for noMERCY. And you can see the cap, not so much a factor now as Yamto is chunked down, and that timer is reset. Control of their southwestern island has been established by Synergy, and that is a picture-perfect counter to the attempts of noMERCY to take that western cap.
Yeah, you can see Fussy Eater deciding to finally get into the game, just charges straight through the middle. And yeah, I think noMERCY will find just Fussy Eater can get peaked time and time again by the more rigid T54 lightweight, and I don't think he can really contribute much to this game, can't really do very much to help his team win. The cap has been stopped completely, and noMERCY trading about 2,500 hit points.
They're done here. They're absolutely cooked. Synergy now can work out of the middle of the map quite easily. Yamto's a one-shot. Winnie the Pooh has one of those waiting. And Evie goes down as well. Look at that, noMERCY in seconds, just completely decimated. Now only Matt PL was left, and he started off well. He managed to keep Synergy at bay. You know, I sigh, it's disappointing because noMERCY was such a good start, and I feared a little bit. In the corner of my heart, I feared that they'd sort of fall over here on Mines, and it's not a good start. Mines attack as well. For teams, you get the hill, man. You get the islands as well. You can take so much control of this map. Normally, it's the easier side, and noMERCY have kind of fluffed their lines a little bit here as well. I like the adaptation of Synergy. Not only do they have strats prepared for games, right, but that adaptation was really good. That 5100, I think, sitting well back, wasn't able to do anything for noMERCY as well. And that's definitely got to be a factor.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you know, yesterday we saw vPro and ASAT winning both attacking rounds, losing both defensive. So you got a totally different situation right now. And I think your 5100 being out of the game pretty much is 0 damage. And I think another thing I got to mention, Synergy, they played it really nicely with the angles because, you know, yes, noMERCY was sitting back holding Jamto and Rafik in that T-37 in their arms, you know, making sure that they're safe. But yeah, Synergy only peaked where one tank could shoot them, so there's only so much damage they can actually take. So I don't know, I think that one was just noMERCY not really doing any damage to Synergy. Synergy getting the kill onto Rafik, slowing that to cap down by half, which gives Winnie the Pooh enough time to go forwards on that T-54, and then, you know, not really receiving much more damage. I think, again, you know, having a 5100 out of the game could have had a big impact.
You know, I wonder at what point noMERCY maybe realised that Synergy weren't able to push the hill or weren't going to elect to do that. You can see here, this is towards the end of the game, and they still haven't pushed the hill. Only now is that 5100 even thinking about moving. And in doing so, he's spotted straight away. Winnie the Pooh gets shots on him in just a moment. And then everyone just sort of chunks down Fussy Eater. He literally did nothing in this game.
And you've got basically, I think it's TotalBest, noMERCY in that T-54 to the western side. You know, he's really controlling a lot of the map in that position because he took the T-54 out, which is probably one of the other reasons why noMERCY lost. And to be fair, you know, the AMX 5100 is in a great position to defend Jamto when Synergy is committed by jumping off the cliff, basically. If they're actually on that lower side, in the water or near the water, I mean, the 5100 just gets nice clear shots without receiving any damage from the side. So that's exactly the position they want to be in, but they couldn't get Synergy to commit that much, so they managed to lose that round.
Snip, 0 damage. And of course, Fussy to no damage.
Yep.
2 tier 8s doing absolutely nothing. It's got to bode ill for your team, especially on a map like Mines where Crossfire is so important, where everyone needs to do their fair share of damage. And
you have to take down Mirlov at the end of the day. You know, Mirlov should have died in that T-54, so noMERCY can control that whole southern area, so they can make shots towards the hill. But you know, they just gave that one up, and that's despite the fact that Synergy missed quite a few shots on the side.
I mean, now as a chance for like a flip of sides, I suppose. I honestly am going to call 5-3 for Synergy here.
They're looking confident. This is Synergy's map choice. I have to say as well, Synergy looked a lot worse on the attack on Ruinberg than they did look on the defense. So, I mean, let's be honest here. If I was noMERCY, I'd be like, damn it, we were 3-1 up. We're now 3-all. We've lost 2 rounds in a row. What can we do to improve? What can we do to actually go in and potentially win the next 2 rounds to close this one out?
What's your prediction, score-wise? What do you think? What are we going to see at the end of this?
I think it's going to be a 5-4. I'm not sure who to, though.
Okay, so we might have a chance to see that tiebreaker in just a moment. So in a moment, we'll jump in the game and we'll see. Now, of course, sides will switch. So defensive side here for noMERCY, often touted as a trickier side to play on, generally because you have to give up so many key objectives and landmarks on this map, and the potential for you to be flanked if you push the hill with all your tanks. Well, it's definitely present, so let's jump in now and see what this map of Mines has to hold for us, especially with noMERCY on the defensive side. And Navy, it's not the first time I think we've seen a Jagdpanther 2 on this map.
Well, the first time in a while. We actually had one in A3 or A4 at some point, I believe. And
a few weeks back.
Yeah, at the beginning of the season at least. So I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work out. I mean, obviously a great gun. The one below the Jagdtiger, 490 average damage. It really does punish. If it's given the opportunity, and that's the problem, the opportunity may not arise. But it's going to be noMERCY kind of putting it in the position where the 416 normally plays it.
Well, I believe the Jagd in German is to hunt, is what it is known as. So let's see if Navy can, I don't know, symbolize that now. He's going to be sitting back, of course, for a while and just trying to hold on. So, again, no hill play here for noMERCY. Fairly standard. It's a very defensive setup, actually. And the 12-ton of Rafiki is going to go forward and just check. You can see Navy just moving back and forth. He has a good spot here. I mean, we've often seen Borsig's in the same position as well, fulfilling a similar role. And the hill is well and truly taken by Synergy here. Spots, though, not a lot going out on Stalker. I think that might have even been a blind shot towards him there, as none of Synergy was spotted. And snipping that PL blinking in and out of vision.
Yeah, so options for Synergy. I mean, the classic one is to push down towards where the IS-3s are, but that's where the IS-3s are in the end. That's really the most obvious move from an attacking team. Eastern side, get the exchange on, win that one, and then you've pretty much got the game in your hands. We saw yesterday that's the way Virtus Pro wanted to play against ASAP. They blind shot the IS-3's position, took it down half HP, made it a lot easier for the exchange. But I don't know. I think noMERCY's got a pretty good counter to that one. I think if Synergy had picked up an artillery, it might be a different kind of ball game, but still, I think Synergy might be sitting there scratching their heads, what can we do? How can we play this one? I mean, they got the Jagdpanther, which is a bad tank in a lot of situations, but you still need to get close to it to be able to take it down. And, it's got only 1,150 HP, but it does bounce quite a bit. Its armor's pretty sloped.
Yeah, especially the front, super bouncy there. The manlet is quite large, so we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I'm not sold on it yet, I'll be honest, but we'll see what Navy can do with that one. And Synergy yet to make an opening here, and what we find is usually in the first couple of minutes they've already made significant inroads and already have that advantage. So this is where the tactical mind of Stalker will definitely be tested. Gotta adapt to this, especially since Synergy have only really spotted that standard Vanguard of 54 lightweights on the southwestern island. They don't have a whole lot more to go by. They can definitely conject as to the fact that noMERCY may well be sitting back here. And noMERCY to pick up this round would definitely allow them to breathe a sigh of relief, would definitely secure them the tiebreaker, which will be on Himmelsdorf as well, often favoured by one of our Polish teams. So we'll see if that will be the case. However, 4 minutes left in this game, and noMERCY still definitely not keen to push out, definitely not keen to make any sort of moves. You can see they're keeping back that duo of IS-3s back towards their base. They're really just trying to make sure they've got all the essential angles covered. But I mean, Synergy can go for a cap on towards this eastern village. What capacities do noMERCY have to disrupt this?
Well, they could just put the IS-3s forwards, but I guess that could actually be an option for Synergy, but I think they need Stalker to be in that cap as a kind of guard first. I mean, we saw that a couple of times. I believe Na'Vi actually tried that one as well, or one of the teams that was playing them, but I'm not sure. I think, you know, Rafik is spotting it out, so noMERCY will have a lot of times to react. And, you know, if you look at noMERCY's positioning, they're really worried about two angles. First of all, the T-54s towards the western side. That's why I got noMERCY actually aiming towards there instead of the hill. And they're also worried about that eastern cap. That's why I got that Rafik holding that position to try and give their team, which is very slow, in principle, enough time for them to be in a position where, first of all, they can stop that cap and also receive as minimal damage as possible from the hill.
Well, as you said about Stalker maybe making a move towards the cap, he does. He just inches on towards that site here, and you can see there's 254 lightweights of noMERCY on the western side. It's a fair trip for them to get back. It's too risky for them to cross directly from west to east. It's likely they'll try and back up towards the south and go back behind where the Jagdpanther or noMERCY is. So we'll see. Depends on what information they have right now. And Synergy make a move on towards this cap. Stalker's in a great spot here. Really can't be damaged by that duo IS-3. So it's a great start. Synergy will just start to set things up. They'll set the tone here. But we can see the 54 lightweights of noMERCY. Instead of sort of backing up, they're pushing forward straight through that riverside. Yet to be spotted. They might be able to get the drop here, but they're still going to have the IS-3 to deal with in the middle of the map before they can even think about affecting over on that eastern cap.
Yeah, and Total Best is actually going to try and engage onto him, but you've got the IS-3 holding the middle, and you also got the IS-3s of noMERCY now pushing forwards, and Nidin is going to be there to support, so maybe noMERCY are in a little bit of trouble right now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, they weren't set up well for this. They were so concerned about the middle of the map and that western cap, and Nidin has picked up Rafik there, who was just cowering in a bush for quite some time. noMERCY takes a big hit on the Jagdpanther, so does Yamto, and they're getting chunked down bit by bit. Synergy getting it done, getting over the line, and Stalker is in such an annoying position. You literally have to get around behind like this. Snip's not even looking for the reset. This could really hurt them right now. He's trying to do with Winnie the Pooh. Maybe a bit of tunnel vision, maybe a little bit easily distracted. But Lucky Blast will get the reset on towards Stalker. But the cost will be high. Snip is going to be caught out here against Winnie. Great work from Lucky Blast, working perfectly together with Snip here. And he's now one shot. If Snip can just get aggressive, just go for Winnie the Pooh. And then what is he doing? Kill Winnie the Pooh. He's not even, was he even looking at Snip? Not.
I don't know why Snip just peeked then. That's a big blow there for noMERCY. I mean, losing in a one-on-one exchange like that, definitely not good considering the higher HP in total. Now, Jagdpanther is going to have to try and do some extraordinary damage, and it does. Iliad does fall.
Nice work. 3 tanks up against 4 here. Mika is low, so is Winnie the Pooh and Total Best. But Mihailov is doing work. He's going to chunk down Yamto bit by bit. And noMERCY, well, the cap's not really an option right now, of course, with that T-37 down, but only 2 tanks left for noMERCY to work with here. Synergy, I mean, they can work it. Get 3 tanks on there. And noMERCY, it's not a fast tank, the Jagdpanther. As you said, it's bad in a lot of positions. Matt PL will try and keep himself alive right now, but there's a lot of tanks coming forward. He's not going to have too many avenues of escape. If Mihailov does go down, Matt Peel could push forward here. He could really keep himself alive for just a little bit longer. 25 seconds left. Push forward. No, Winnie the Pooh gets the kill on towards him. Lack of information, of course, coming towards that player, and it's going to hurt him in the end. noMERCY just wants to back away. He doesn't want to get killed, but he knows he's going to be endangered species in just a moment. He's a 2-shot to Total Best. Can finish this off, but of course, this is a tank destroyer. Can't turn his turret around. He will get taken down. That is about as close as it gets between these two teams. I honestly think noMERCY could have won that.
Yeah,
I really
for sure.
do.
I think they could have won that in a lot of situations. I think noMERCY did a good job though in the Jagdpanther. He missed a couple of shells, but he did what he needs to do. I think it was lost because, I mean, of course those T-54 duels didn't go too well for them. I think, you know, if Winnie the Pooh had fell, it would have been neat. It would have been first of all, I think the T-54 sitting behind to defend.
There's Mihailov, I think, was there as well.
Yeah, and it would have been noMERCY as well, just to make shells towards the middle area. It's also a problem for him because there was a T-54 sitting there. So I know, I think it was a very close game. noMERCY had literally everything going for them, but they just made a few mistakes, and also the IS-3 is just pushing straight through the middle. I don't know, it didn't work out.
Now, Ollie, we love Snip. It's well documented. But let's have a look at this, and I want you to break this down exactly where this went wrong.
Well, first of all, Snip does a good job against Nidin, and then Winnie the Pooh makes a shell here. I think he shoots, or he shoots, yeah, he shoots towards Lucky Blast, so Snip has got about 5 seconds, and he's worrying about something, but for no reason. And Winnie the Pooh just turns around and just wrecks Snip with a completely lucky shot, to be fair, right on the side of that T-54, but T-54 lightweight, not the best side scraper in the world. So, I mean, that was 100% an individual mistake. Really scared, really timid play by Snip, and cost his team quite a lot. But looking through the damage, 2.6k by noMERCY in that Jagdpanther 2. To be fair, some of it was useless, but it was good enough damage. Mieloff doing 2.5k, but you know, if you look from the bottom up, Fussy Eater and Snip doing 400 and 800 apiece. Whilst really no one from Synergy did below 1,000, apart from Iliot, who was very close.
Second map in a row where both of those players have failed to contribute. Fussy Eater was that 5100 sitting well back. Snip was the 54 lightweight who pushed onto the island and just got wrecked. These two guys, like, they're hurting. Look, honestly, it's not their fault. They've been told where to go, and sometimes things just happen that way as well in maps like this. But Melly, I mean, it's tough, of course. We know a few of these guys, the Polish guys, we're well familiar with. But
Absolutely.
They're faltering right at such an important time.
Yeah, that's really sad to see, because the whole community is just chanting noMERCY, noMERCY. They really want noMERCY to win. I mean, that would be the first win of the season for them, actually. And people would love to see it happen. I mean, they did so well on the first map. Absolutely. And I can't tell you what's happening right now. Is it maybe wrong decision making in fear of bringing in the wrong decisions, and maybe even the reason for
afraid
losing?
to make a mistake, sort of thing?
Yeah, and that's why they're doing mistakes, because they're too afraid to commit.
Well, I think you can see Synergy is more colourful on Mines and noMERCY. I think they feel more confident, like they've won 3 rounds in a row now, basically. Doesn't matter if it's attack or defense, and I think noMERCY's commitment towards that western side didn't work out too well. I think those double IS3 lineups, it's great if you have tanks pushing onto you, but it didn't work out there because, I mean, of course, Synergy, just Eastern cap, very standard thing, and just put the pressure on, made those IS3s come to them, and of course that didn't work out. But I don't know, I think noMERCY is a little bit timid. They're slipping, and they need to catch themselves.
You said that Utopia is quite a colourful team, or at least in that map. I know what's colourful in the camp of noMERCY. It's the language. It's all the same word. We know what word they'll be saying right now, but they have to bring this now to a tiebreaker to have a chance of winning it. So already one of those points they desperately need to get themselves off the bottom of the ladder being stolen away from them here. When they take a tiebreaker win here, they're even with ASEP, but it's not really much to write home about, is it?
True. But I think if they manage to get the next round, they could probably win the tiebreak as well, like riding the morale wave.
Momentum is so important in water tanks as well.
Exactly.
I mean, going back to Himmelsdorf will be pretty good as well. It'll definitely sort of be a good situation for them. They always favoured some of those.
With a good feeling, though. Yeah,
I mean, here it is up again at table. noMERCY. 6 losses, 0 wins and that 1 point. So, yeah, tiebreaker here is the best they can hope for. It will put them on even footing with ASEP.
And that 1 point was the first game of the season against Wusa where they went 4-5. So, I mean, like, that's been 5 losses in a row and 1 tiebreaker loss right at the beginning. So it's like, it's about time that they really start stepping up, and they're in a good position still. They're 1 round down against Synergy. They can come back. They can see what mistakes they've made, and it's been like their losses have been down to just individual bad plays, and a couple of strategical. Maybe 1 strategical bad call, going on that western side again. I think that first time round, Synergy just being super aggressive just caught them out a little bit.
Absolutely so. Tiebreaker win here would be fantastic for noMERCY, gets them off the bottom. And obviously the tiebreaker loss at least will get them the draw. So they definitely want at least 1 more round here. But Synergy, they're not going to make it easy for them here. And the FV304, Oliver, has been picked up here for Stalker.
Yeah, I mean, a nice little tank. I'm really a massive fan of it. Maybe not going to work too well against noMERCY. It just depends if they do commit anything else apart from Rafik down to that F3 area. Another interesting thing to note, Synergy hasn't put into D1, which is pretty typical. So perhaps also an indicator that they know that noMERCY won't go down to the F5 area. So they want to more have a straight shot position. So this is 3 rounds, as I said, in a row for Synergy. They've brought themselves back from a 3-1 deficit. And now on match point, and if they do lose, I have to feel very sorry for noMERCY indeed. So noMERCY going for a pretty heavy lineup again, 2 IS3s, 2 T54s, 4 54s, and an AMX-12T. Got a lot of HP there, got a lot of flexibility. And they look like they're just, again, covering all the corners, covering all the points, and playing a pretty standard Mines defense.
Synergy with the potential to really expose some single dimensionality here from noMERCY. If noMERCY are going to go so strong on Rurenberg and get 4-0'd on Mines, well, I don't deserve to win the game. That's pretty straightforward, I suppose. See Iliot now making his way up on towards a hill with that T32. A little bit slower, But once he gets there as well, it's always an important point for him to be at. We are noticing here, of course, that you know, noMERCY have dispensed with that tank destroyer. They're not opting to go for that one here. But outside of that, the setup seems fairly similar here, and they're still thinking quite heavily about this island. Again, we're going to see Winnie the Pooh here, and he's actually sort of escorting Stalker in that FV304, so he's going to get into position and maybe just try and soften up noMERCY before Synergy try and go in for something here. Yeah, so Synergy looking towards like a western side push with the 3 T54s to go against noMERCY's T54s. 2 of them sitting in H2, 1 of them sitting in K2. So it's going to be a 3 versus 3 situation. You can see Stalker making a few blind shots. But I think it might be a good call from Synergy. I mean, really, noMERCY has nothing that can support them from that right side because they don't have the tank destroyer or normally a 416 down into A4. So, I don't know, this could go well. Let's just see how they execute. I mean, Synergy need to win this exchange on their western side. And then it's a pretty straightforward game of pushing through the middle and, you know, making sure that they make the overmatch work for them. We can see quite a few tanks here being committed for Synergy over towards this side island to such an extent that even Nidin is joining the fray. So it might be a little bit of aggression, maybe some delayed aggression from them here. Stalker did manage to get a little bit of a tickle over towards Snip with that FV. You can see the crater just over the top of that 54 lightweight, and yet another shot going in that direction here as well. So the push on. 54 lightweight, in fact 4 of them here. Super aggressive little pack, and of course don't forget Stalker will be wanting to assist from afar. See the shot still coming in. There's another 112 being taken off. Winnie the Pooh does take a shot. 4 shells go towards those advancing tanks, and 1 penetrates. Not good enough for noMERCY, and now they're going to be made to suffer for that. Mihailov will catch the second salvo, unfortunately, but he'll be all right. Not as low as he should be in this scenario, and Fussy are going to get double chunked down. Well, at least Synergy don't miss their shots when they're pushing in. The thing is, what noMERCY should just be doing is using MatPL to go forwards onto Winnie the Pooh, and they should sending those 2 T54s down and below to take down Mihailov. Stalker can't provide anything, and really no one else can do either. Nidin, by going over towards that right side, is really just not going to be in the equation. Yeah, interesting position from him. Kind of puts himself in the middle of the action. And Winnie the Pooh, they're going to get taken quite low. Stalker, though, did get the finish on towards Fussy, so definitely earning his kick for the moment. Total Best will be able to push over towards MatPL. Winnie the Pooh wants to use a shot. He's thinking about Snip, though. He knows Snip's going to be coming for him here. Snip just absolutely balls up that shot. Winnie the Pooh has a chance now to wait for him to push around the corner. Meanwhile, Total Best and MatPL getting that duel on. I think Nidin actually connected there as well, perhaps from around the corner. Stalker with his second kill because Snip was sitting out in the open. He missed such an important shot, and noMERCY now really running out of tanks here. The health pool, though, advantage is with them. But we'll have to see how Synergy maneuver here, how they try and get those overmatches. Yamto bravely pushing out across the field here. He's actually not lit yet, so those tanks on the hill can't kill him. He can set up here. This is not bad for noMERCY. Let's see if he can take down the Winnie the Pooh. He will be able to find Stalker pretty quickly after that, but God. I mean, there's no point of him missing that shell. He should just go forwards and win the exchange. Yes, he might receive a shell from the right side, but you can see exactly the point of why the IS-3 works so well. It's not because it's a good tank from the front, it's because it's a good tank from the side. And finally, Jamto does make it work, receives a couple too many shells, and Rafik now going to have to try and make up for that in the MX-12T. This is still in noMERCY's hand. The HP is very close. They just need to just keep control of this because 1 minute and 55 seconds remain. Yeah, technically the advantage with noMERCY, given that Stalker is, well, not super mobile and not always great in those head-to-head fights, but he's still on the field and he's been getting kills. 920 damage, 5 direct hits. You really can't argue with numbers like that. He will take a hit from Rafik now, be forced back away. Lucky Blast gets a flank on. And Synergy, this might start to unravel a little bit here. Hope is shining for noMERCY in a game where I thought they'd be out. And Synergy would take this one 4-0. Samika now looking for Nevi over on towards his cap. I think Synergy thought they had control of that west side. They actually didn't because Jamto was super aggressive, and that's why Stalker just got taken out and simply given noMERCY the advantage here in this game. Nevi playing this one fairly cleverly. Lucky Blast actually was right towards the back of things for most of the game. Now he gets involved, and what a crucial time to do so. Zamika is going to take a hit. Nevi, is he going to risk one? He might now that Zamika has fired, in fact, but Nevi takes a shot, I think, from Nadine up on the hill. So good canvassing from Synergy, covering the angles. Lucky Blast has to be careful. Gets a shot towards Nadine. It is very close. All of those tanks are one-shots over there on that part of the map. And Iliad over on the other side is low as well. Nevi goes down, though, and it's going to get real tight with 50 seconds left. Yeah, 50 seconds remain on the clock. You still got Jamto in that IS-3. These tanks just need to stay alive. They need to stop Synergy from being able to cap. Lucky Blast needs to get back around the corner quickly before it didn't. Oh, it just gets away from the shot. Skitters past him. That was really important. Now Lucky Blast has the chance at least to wait for Nadine to poke out, but he does blink out of vision. But Rafik, half health Jamto on that IS-3. He kind of put himself in a position where he can't do much brawling right now, but it does not matter because he is healthy. He can soak up damage. And if Rafik and if Lucky Blast continue to do their jobs, beautiful from Rafik, this is looking good. noMERCY look like they're going to take this, of course, to the tiebreaker. It's now 13 seconds left. Synergy have no chess pieces on the table. A couple pawns maybe, but that's about it. And noMERCY are going to hang on here.
Yes, 5 seconds left until the end of the game. Iliot tries to take down Jamto, but the time will run out, and Rafik doesn't even go down as Nidin makes his last play in towards that lower middle area. noMERCY bring it 4-3, 4-4 even, and you know it's super close right now between these two teams, and it just a messy round from both.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. I mean, we could see that noMERCY was struggling a little bit to respond to some of noMERCY's plays here on Mites. Thought it would be a 4-0, I really did, because they didn't really show much progression or a great deal of improvement there. But I guess defense suited them. They sat back. Was it anything special really from noMERCY here, or did Synergy walk themselves into set plays in a trap?
Yeah, I think Synergy, you know, they had the T-54s. I think that was quite an interesting move from them. They managed to take down the T-54s on the left side just in time, but they just didn't seem to do anything with that. You know, you saw Jamto go through the middle, eventually take down Winnie the Pooh. Stalker was too far forwards. I mean, that tank in the FV304 doesn't like have the greatest range in the world. I mean, you know, you have to go a certain amount forwards in the map to be able to do anything. But the position he put himself into was like a position you go to if you think you've got decent control over that western side, which they didn't because of Jamto. So I think that was a bad play with Rafik being able to take him down, you know, and put him in that awkward position. And then, you know, just back and forth between these two. I still think it would have been Synergy's game if they had a little bit more time, but they just wasted too much in that middle stage of the match.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a better performance overall. We can see Zamika and Nevi. This is probably crunch time right here. Now, Nevi's lucky. Lucky Blast made absolutely the correct decision responding to this one now. Zamika was looking in control, but Lucky Blast coming from the back of the map. Firstly, lands that shot. Nevi can't really afford to poke here. He's not aware of Nadin's position on it.
But I don't get this. This is a problem I have with a lot of noMERCY players. Like, he stopped then. Why did he stop? He was in a position where he could win that duel with Zamika, and he was still going to get shot by Nidin. Like, this is, I mean, this is like a lot of World Tanks players do. They get in a position where they can make the first shell. They stop, they make the first shell, but then what about the second shell and the third shell, where you're actually winning the duels? It's not about just getting the one shot, it's about getting the last shell.
Yeah.
This is actually a big change in meta in World Tanks esports in general, where teams stopped stopping and actually went for the push. You know, they grit their teeth, they took the damage on the chin, and then they just went over, got the overmatch, and won it in that respect. You know, they knew the numbers would work in their favor, and I think that's why noMERCY are losing a lot of these duels.
Well, I mean, they got lucky there. You saw that shot from Nadine just go past Lucky Blast, and that honestly could have been everything right there. I mean, there was still a fairly healthy IS-3 on the map, but at 4-4, Melly, the vote's got to be going crazy right now. I mean, we're more interested in what people are saying, of course, on Twitch, but that 50% vote, that seems pretty accurate.
51, actually. It closed down at 51 for noMERCY. So, well, I said that if they make it to a tiebreaker, they're going to take this one. Chances are pretty good, actually. Synergy in fear of losing, maybe doing more mistakes than if they would come out of a win, of course. And the community, before heading into the last map in which they currently are, they said that this is definitely going to Synergy's favor. So let's see how it goes.
Himmelsdorf for Synergy. What are our thoughts on that one?
Well, Synergy versus Pro. I mean, let's be honest here, I think Synergy are a good team on Himmelsdorf. Very positional, very strategical. noMERCY, 22% win ratio on this map. Synergy, 64%. I don't know. I think Synergy have an advantage right now.
noMERCY, that team that we often see with some super aggressive pushes on Himmelsdorf, aren't they? Like across the middle of the map and sometimes really putting themselves in compromising positions. Yeah,
and I think for noMERCY, if they want to win this one, they need to be like pretty adaptive and pretty... not like they're on a defensive side, first of all. I think they just need to be... They were really, let's put it like this, so really slow on the defensive side on mines, we just saw then. We're really waiting for Synergy to make the first move. And that's might have been why they lost a one round there. So I think if they want to win on the Himmelsdorf, they need to go forward. They need to stop Synergy from making that first round, that first move, that first play, which gives you the kind of way into the map.
Well, I'll be looking to see. I mean, if we see that aggression, I mean, tiebreakers are so interesting like that because it's just the one map. And if you're on the attacking side or at least you're in a position where you can dictate the flow of the play, hell, why not throw in something kind of crazy? You never know. Like, I know that take picks are finished, so we're going to be into that one very, very soon. What are your thoughts? Who's back in Synergy on this one?
Me.
Back in Synergy?
Yeah.
I'll make noMERCY. I reckon they go for something crazy. I reckon if they can throw a spanner in the works for Synergy.
They have nothing to lose. That's the way better position in this
It's actually
matchup.
a really good point.
They have nothing to lose. They can just do whatever they want. If they lose, okay, they lost like 6 match weeks already. Well, so one more loss, it's not gonna hurt. But noMERCY, I think they clearly have the favor here.
All right. Let's check it out. We're going to jump in and see this one, of course. I mean, it's only 1 point difference. You win this in this tiebreaker, you get 2 points. If you lose it, you get 1. So, I mean, noMERCY would love the 2, but even 1 point would keep them at least on even footing with ASAP at the bottom. Himmelsdorf it is, of course. noMERCY are defending here, and that may be telling even in and of itself. But there is that Borsig being picked up for Fussy Eater.
Yeah, Borsig, I think, is a nice choice, a solid choice now on Himmelsdorf. And, you know, looking at Synergy's previous performances on this map, just barring that Virtus Pro one where they obviously won 3-1. Penta was the last time they played and picked up a defensive round and an attacking round equally so, where I think Synergy just, you know, managed to take advantage of some mistakes by Penta and some maybe not over-aggression, but just lack in foresight. So let's see if they make that same mistake again. I think that's might be one of the other reasons why they're favored in this this matchup, in my opinion, because they've played against Penta, who have been a pretty decent team on Himmelsdorf in a lot of these seasons, and they can just look at their result there and see what they made in terms of mistakes and correct them.
Snip there, and that forward position often taken up by that IS-3. And again, noMERCY pushing quite aggressively on the 8 line as well. So they do, I guess, remove that potential opportunity from Synergy right now. And now, knowing that they have the 8 line, I guess it's either the hill or a push towards the eastern side. And interestingly enough here, we do see Stalker going to be making his way down that hill. See how much information he can gather. And this could be telling for Synergy right now. They're in a position they can be somewhat flexible with those 2 5100s. They could send them to the hill. They could send the IS-3s, I guess, to try and battle on the 8 line and get a flank with those 5100s here, because to have that hill control could be really telling.
I'm really interested to see what these 2 5100s of Synergy do, because they can just push around and take down Jamto, but they'll be absolutely destroyed by the Waffentrager sitting up in D3. So all these kind of things might be going for Synergy's mind as Elite has found the back of Matt PL.
This is what I was looking for, actually. Work on towards the 8 line. Look at the aggression now. The Waffentrager, will it be a factor? No, the first shot was missed, in fact, and they're going to be able to do so much work towards Jamto. This could be rough for noMERCY right now. They have control of that entire sort of 8-line road, and you can see TotoBest is continuing to push up. Another Borsig shot bites the dust. Snip may have been set on fire there. I'm not quite sure. He's actually been forced down to that little hold-out position. For God knows what reason, he could have held that for a little bit longer, but nonetheless, he pushes up. Matt PL sets himself up in the middle here, and Jamto will take a shot from TotoBest. Iliot now going to join the fray as well. Not good for noMERCY right now. You can see Nevi and Lucky Blast trying to make some sort of opportunity happen on the other side of the map, but will it be enough right now? TotoBest takes down Matt PL. This Borsig, I don't know, man. I really don't know right now. This Nevi and Lucky Blast trying to do work. You might be right here, Oliver, because it looks like noMERCY is struggling to hold on. It's still in the balance now. Lucky Blast needs to connect this one. Nevi needs to connect his, and neither of them, one of them connects their shot.
Super low damage roll from Nevi, so they're very unlucky. But again, Lucky Blast, he did this previous round. He stopped just to be able to shoot the one tank which he could shoot. And the one with low HP just reversed from Synergy. He managed to somehow find that one, maybe some misplay from Synergy. But he couldn't find that second kill because he didn't go forwards with Nevi. He didn't play as a team. He didn't play as a team player. And it's just these individual mistakes that are so frustrating to watch for noMERCY that I really have to say Synergy, you know, they are an individually weak team, but, you know, they just seem to be having the strategical foresight to go into these positions where they can make the shells easily, they can get the positions easily, and they make life a lot more simple for themselves when they do that.
Fussy Eater and Lucky Blast now just trying to respond to this because the push is on. It's a cap, of course, for Synergy, and they're just taking their time. Fussy Eater needs to come towards TotoBest. One big shot. I mean, it'll be nice, but it won't be much to write home about. 800. Oh, 750 damage is okay, especially if Fussy Eater can get away. No, his engine's taken out. And no repair kit for Fussy Eater. He's out there like a sitting duck, but it looks like that 5100 of TotoBest, I think it was, isn't going to take his chances. And he'll be able to back away, but there he goes. Mika gets the pick up on Fussy Eater. The Borsig is fragile out if it's left out in the open. And now Lucky Blast is a man tasked Blast with the reset here. Can get a cheeky shot towards Total Best, and he turns his head and he takes a free hit, but he can still get the reset. He does do that, but I don't know. 47 health points left. Lucky Blast is the final hope for noMERCY, and unfortunately they will go down, more unfortunately for them at least. And again, they fall short just at the last hurdle there. Tie break though, they're pushing Synergy to that. It's good, but coming so far, you've got to be upset with that result.
Yeah, again, you know, we said at the beginning, you know, 5-4 is not unusual when we see a 3-1 plus for the team in the first round and the first map. So, you know, great stuff to see Synergy coming back from a deficit, but not that unusual. It's not like a massive thing these days in 754 in this season. So, I don't know. I think it was clear to me that Synergy lacked a lot on Ruinberg, and noMERCY took advantage of that with their map pick. And then we went to Synergy's map pick. We had exactly the same situation. It went, you know, 1 for 1. That's fair enough. Then we go to the tiebreaker, and it just looked to me like Synergy were just a better team on Himmelsdorf. It's only one round, so it's hard to say that. But you know, Snip gets tracked and set on fire. That's really unlucky for him as well. And I like the push up the 8 line, no matter.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's the Borsig there as well. I was concerning. I'd be interested to see how much damage was actually dealt by that one there as well. Because, to be fair, 2 hits. Damn, that's low scores from, in fact, the most of noMERCY. Those IS-3s didn't do a heck of a lot of work here. It definitely hurt them. A step pushed up into the hold down position. I'm just trying to recreate this because, you know, ostensibly, at least on paper, noMERCY could have dragged that out a bit longer. They didn't put themselves in a good position at all. No hill play, not even with their light tank. They let the T-37 on the cap. In fact, it's like he barely moved after spawning. He just sat there. Why? Can you do more with that?
I think you can. I think what noMERCY's done with their T-37 is put it where that 5100 was, you know, right in that corner. Because the problem was when Synergy just pushed up that 8 line, when they saw that Snip and the Waffentarger on that 1 to 3 line, thought, okay, we can get the overmatch on that right side. We've got control of the hill. That's okay. So they pushed up that line. They were really clever about it. They didn't take the bait with the Waffentarger. They didn't go straight around the corner and engage immediately. They went straight forward, made a couple of shells, did some damage against the 5100 and IS-3. They went up into the D line, killed the 5100, killed the IS-3. Snip got taken down. Pretty unlucky for him in terms of the fire. And you could see kind of like a play from Nevi and Lucky Blast. Some bad play by Lucky Blast. Didn't secure them in the 2 kills, which they desperately needed as well. But I think it was already game over by that point.
Game over indeed. 5-4 to Synergy. Another tiebreaker. Had 5 in a row now. Brilliant. Let's have a look at these matches. Of course, the first one was a tiebreaker win for Ding, who some would say was a bit of an upset over Virtus Pro, but given recent form, there's only so far you can really take that assumption. And of course, Synergy there getting the win over noMERCY. And now we move on. We move on to ASAP versus Wusa. And Melly, are you feeling another tiebreaker here? What are your thoughts?
I think we're going to see another tiebreaker, actually, because that's what the community feels as well.
It's like tiebreaker week. I mean,
yeah.
We
start on Tuesday with
got
tiebreakers.
No games next week because of Gamescom, so we'll get as much World of Tanks in as possible.
Exactly, you have to stretch it out as much as possible. So
yeah, it's good World of Tanks. I mean, I'm not complaining.
Then we have Super Week where we have double match days, so we're just getting like
this is gonna be fun.
12 tiebreakers. What do you reckon? Anyway, like, what are your thoughts on this one as well? And I mean, of course, the vote's open for this next map, so people definitely want to be getting involved.
Wusa, I think it's going to be interesting, to be honest. And as said, predicted, my first prediction went wrong. So it could have gone noMERCY's way. Wasn't their fate,
I agreed with you. They're always with them.
And let's see how this one goes. This one, I'm not going to say anything. I'll let the community decide. People, if you haven't voted already, vote is already open. Head over to facebook.com/WGLEU and get yourself in there, because the first 3 fastest correct predictions of this scoreline, well, are taking bonus codes home with them, which is pretty awesome. And currently it's 50-50, so time to change that. And also, if you don't want to participate via Facebook, head over to Twitter and use the hashtag WGLEU. We'll be heading into a short break, so enough time to get your votes ready, to get some snacks and to refill your cup of tea maybe. I could use a tea if you ask me.
A bit of chamomile with some honey would go down real good.
Oh, that would be perfect. So
English
10 minutes. No, go away, Ollie. 10 minutes of break. People will be back with Wusa versus ASAP.